Hi guys, how we doing? About to watch this video about the weaponization of cell phone towers that some people have been watching and sharing the past couple of weeks. And some people have been, saying that it's a bit scary. They're thinking it could possibly be hidden weapons, hidden electric frying weapons. So I thought I'd watch it and put some comments through it because I don't like fear. I don't like people being scared. I don't think it's a positive thing. So hopefully we can get rid of some of them negative vibes while we watch it. I'm going to put a link to the actual video as well because I'm going to be stopping it and commenting over it and talking about it and that. And obviously I didn't create it, so if you do like the original video you should go follow the link and show him the support and like that for sure. And if you want to watch it properly without me talking all over it as well, there's a few links in the description, so this one's going to be the first one. The very first link in the description will be to the original of this video that we're about to watch. Okay, so I'll play it now.
One of the most shocking things that I found thus far in all the inspections that I've performed for people so far. And here we are on the roof of an architecture firm in this beautiful space that this person lives in. I'm going to show you.
I've not watched this video yet, so
stay back. Radio frequency energy may exceed exposure limits. This person just found out recently that they have cancer, and they've actually been helping their son for the last year or so, who's 25, who also has cancer. And I'm going to show you what is behind this building, and I'm really, really shocked. So here we go. Here's this door, and we're gonna just step in here very briefly because it's really intense in here. So this is cell phone towers.
Look at that. It's unbelievable. And again, I'll show you the meter. Sitting here right outside these people's driveway. Now this is also extremely hard to believe. I've now driven down almost a full block, right next to the telephone pole, down a full block, and check this out. I'm going to show you the meter reading, and the meter is still up at 2 and 3 volts per meter in the red on the left-hand side of the peak.
What is actually reading here just yet? It says here peak VM, so volt something. So presumably this is how much electric it's pushing out. Acoustometer, ACOUST, meter, EM fields measuring equivalent, electromagnetic field. So we're measuring the peak volts of the electromagnetic field. That's a £300 piece of kit as well. Okay, so let's carry on watching.
Benjamin Rivas has worked on cell phone towers for 14 years.
Physically burned my hand.
The burn is a work injury you can see.
What you see here is what I would call an everyday crime.
Other problems he said caused by the towers aren't as easy to spot.
Depression, and I get headaches from time to time, and mood swings and stuff.
Here's what I consider, in my personal opinion, another crime scene. And I don't think I'm being dramatic saying this. Here's the cell phone tower.
We'll get a bit of history on this guy at some point as well before I finish the video.
Literally in the parking lot, right next to these stores. There's human beings working in these stores and eating in these restaurants all day long, and there's a cell phone tower right there.
I've got one of these things right next to my house. I hope it's not going to be too dangerous.
That's hitting 1,000 microwatts per square meter, depending on the pulses that are coming off the tower. I'm across the street, as you can see. I wouldn't even want to guess what the radiation exposure is inside of those stores there. And I have the meter set on average, which you can see here it says RMS, which means microwatts per square meter average power density. This is 800, 900 microwatts per square meter. Goes even higher. Once again, biological effects start at 3.4 to 6 microwatts per square meter average power density.
52-year-old Sanjay Kasliwal is counting the days now. Incurable.
Quite a bit of stuff to suggest that they're manipulating human beings' own frequency with the surrounding electric fields. Seen a few of these things before. Well, I've heard someone said that this is going to get onto weaponization as well, which is quite deep, I think, quite scary.
Brain cancer due to radiation from mobile
Could
phone
be
towers
scary.
in his neighborhood has reduced life to little more. His brother has been termed luckier, sent to the US for brain surgery, but both of them know hope fades.
I have written to all possible government offices to find out what sort of control are they doing or what sort of an audit is being done, and it seems everything falls on deaf ears. Nobody is concerned.
Experts say the area the two men live in faces radiation from mobile phone towers equivalent to living in a microwave oven 19 minutes a day.
See, the levels were somewhere between minus 18 to minus 20 to 20 dBm also.
That's a lot of radiation.
And the radiation levels
Being
are very
inside
high.
a microwave for 19 minutes a day. Like, I haven't ever had a microwave in my house, like, and then living next to a cell phone tower like it, you're not even realising that it's doing damage. Let's see what's going on with this.
For prolonged exposure, for almost about 100 times higher than what is recommended for continuous safe exposure. And there are 2 cancer cases which have been reported in this house. There's even a dog has got cancer.
It's kind of interesting when cell phone tower workers are telling you that they have headaches, that they have brain cancer, that they have all these health issues throughout the day, where they get these headaches or blurry vision. Why would so many of these guys have these seemingly often problems like this? You would think that if there was nothing really bad about cell phone towers, that obviously those who would work on these towers would be fine. But instead you hear something quite different. And with the readouts with this, 1,000 plus microwatts per square meter measured near one of these cell phone towers, when it only takes about 10 microwatts to even have any effect on you. So we're talking 100 times the threshold for where it actually can cause
I need to hear
harm
that bit again.
to a person. So it's very interesting for where it actually, so we're talking 100 times when it only takes about 10 microwatts about cell phone towers, that obviously those who would work on these towers would be fine. But instead you hear something quite different. And with the readouts with this, 1,000 plus microwatts per square meter measured near one of these cell phone towers, when it only takes about 10 microwatts to even have any effect on you. So we're talking 100 times.
Well, what kind of effect does 10 microwatts have though? What is the effect? Wonder if we're going to lead on to that. Maybe we'll have to investigate a little bit.
Threshold for where it actually can cause harm to a person. So it's very interesting, you know. Some people have mentioned that when they've lived near cell phone towers, that they've had headaches and depression, and this is also something that these tower workers have mentioned as well, having even depression from being.
There are a lot of mentions of this around smart meters as well, aren't there? Might have to have a little look at that.
This also begs the question of whether or not these patents I've shown in a previous video really are something that is being used on some of these towers to where it can actually influence you. These frequencies that they use can cause certain types of emotions and certain types of feelings. At certain frequencies it makes you even potentially depressed feeling, and in other frequencies it can cause you to even become enraged. And why is there so many cell phone towers? And in many cases these cell phone towers, if you put your cell phone directly towards them in the range and it doesn't do anything. You go look up the cell phone tower online, it says it's for this certain particular company, let's say Sprint. You go and take your phone over to it and you have no bars. Doesn't even make any sense.
Seems like this guy's done put quite a bit of work into it, doesn't he? Talking about paintings and stuff. Looks like the original's 3 Creepy TV. So we might have to find that channel. Oh, this is God Rules is watching it. I think I'll probably link to both of the channels because it looks like that 3 Creepy TV's got 70,000 subscribers who God Rules is watching it on, so I'll have to link to both of them.
We even have some of these cell phone towers multiples in a row. Why would you have so many in a row? What's the relevance of that? It's supposed to be covering certain square footage, allegedly, but instead we have them lined up near a highway. Why would they be doing that? Especially not very far apart. So it makes you kind of wonder what they're really for here.
To broadcast the entire Earth, it takes 2 kilowatts, 2 hair dryers. Now a microwave oven uses 1,000 watts or 1 kilowatt. Here's the damage.
Okay, we must be getting onto the weaponization bit now. I think with the manipulation of frequencies, this is something that I've seen before, and I've agree with, basically. Not only cell phone towers, but radios, TVs, electric cables, lights, light bulbs, all of the electric equipment that's around us now that we live in the society with, influences our own frequency that we resonate at, and so manipulates our moods and what we attract and detract, and how we get on with stuff, whether we think or not. So this weaponization stuff, I don't like the look of this. I've enjoyed feeling in the past that the weapons are fake and they can't hurt us, and it's just all fear mongering. So hopefully we'll keep the same line.
1 kilowatt can be done by somebody when they take a magnetron out of a microwave and turn it into a ray gun.
Okay, that was pretty bad. That's what a microwave can do. Shit.
This is just a small example of a low-tech weapon running on 1,000 watts. Then you have these things here, these huge towers of death. Now each row in this tower, an array, or a set of dishes or
death. Come on, brother. Tower of Death. Stranger than fiction news.
antennas, or whatever you want to call them, is connected to a cable with a maximum power output of 300,000 watts, or 300 kilowatts. That's 300 microwave ovens. We based that conservative estimate based on the gauge of the cabling that's running up to one of these arrays. They're estimated at 300,000 watts per cable. Those aren't fiber optic cables running up to those arrays. It's a thick copper gauge transmission line quality cable running up those towers. Now if there's 10 cables...
That doesn't sound nice, does it? If you're thinking about like magnets and how they have massive coils of copper in them, and they mess about the frequencies that we resonate at, having all these masses of copper wire about. I've never even thought about these thick ass cables here. Now thinking about it, they're all over the place, aren't they, these towers? All the towers that just run electricity and wires overhead, pylons. I guess they're called pylons in other countries as well. Deep, man. We're gonna have to... The future's gonna have to not have this all this electricity in it. Something that I'd felt deep inside me, like an information coming from within kind of thing in the past, that getting a connection to people that use horses, I can't remember what they're called, but there's a type of people, is it Amish or something, where they still use horses and they don't want to use any like steam engines or electricity or anything like that. Sounds like a nice way to go. Maybe we'll go back that way on the flat earth. I think I'm going to push for it.
Cables that's like 3 megawatts of power. And these cables are out there to output power to the magnetron, not for data transfer. That's
to output power to the magnetron. Let's see what the magnetron is. The magnetron is a high-powered vacuum tube that works as a self-excited microwave oscillator. Crossed electron and magnetic fields are used in the magnetron to produce the high-power output required in radar equipment. Radar basics, magnetron. So magnetron is something to do with radar. We see the pictures of it here. Physical construction of a magnetron. Electron beams, space charge wheel, dispensing energy to the AC field, transistor oscillation, modes of oscillation, magnetron coupling, magnetron tuning. Okay, that's magnetron. Back to the video.
That's an important point. These cell phone towers are weaponized. There's no other reason to have this much power running up the cables. It isn't for data transfer. Now, FCC regulations limit...
Okay, if that's the only bit of weaponization comment that we have, then you can't just assume that because there's a lot of electricity going up there, it's being used to weaponize. It's being weaponized. It could easily be used to try and harness energy or put energy into the atmosphere, like weather modification, for example.
Normal transmission per array to about 400 watts. To put that into perspective, 1 watt from your phone can go 25 miles to the nearest tower. A 1,000 watt magnetron on a stick can blow shit up. And these towers have a 300 kilowatt power line running up to each rectenna. And who knows, there could be an amplifier at the top of these towers that steps up the power even more.
Alright, this is fear mongering now, guys. If you've watched this video and you've got scared of weaponization, even before getting to the end, the things that this guy is saying is pushing for it to be weaponization. He's trying to suggest that it is. There's no evidence here to support the fact that it's weaponization. We've just got that it's got a high volume of electricity running up to the top of a pylon. It's in line with the theory that it could be weaponization, but it doesn't point it in that direction. It doesn't tell us that it is weaponized. And this guy says 3 things now. What did he just say then a second ago? There could be amplifiers at the top. Right, yeah, there could be amplifiers at the top, but you don't need to say it in that way. I'm just going to bring it back a little bit because it upset me a little bit how he said it, and I'm not sure if I should have been upset by it, to be fair.
Rectenna. And who knows, there could be an amplifier at the top of these towers that steps up. 1 watt from your phone can go 25 miles to the nearest tower. A 1,000 watt magnetron on a stick can blow shit up. And these towers have a 300 kilowatt power line running up to each rectenna. And who knows, there could be an amplifier at the top of these towers that steps up.
Amplifying it to make it stronger, to power people, more power to weaponize it, blow shit up. That's what he said. It doesn't have to be blowing shit up, does it? Is this guy capable of understanding everything that those towers can be used for? Like, maybe he is. I don't know, maybe he built them and he has dedicated his life to absolutely understanding it, but I don't know. You can't predict their plans, and we shouldn't just jump straight away on, oh, they're trying to kill us, because they've got lots of ways that they could do it if they wanted to, and we don't need to be fearing about it. Let's look at what it could actually be. I turn towards manipulation of the energy fields. Maybe, you know, just having all that power up there and in the air, maybe it's just transmitting into the clouds and around the atmosphere and doing us over that way, just by having it sitting there. Who knows?
Up the power even more. The point is here, ladies.
Who knows? Who knows? We don't know. So please don't suggest that it's trying to hurt us and kill us, because it puts fear into people. Shouldn't be putting fear into people. It makes people less progressive.
Gentlemen, is that these companies like Lucent and Google could turn up the juice at any time and nuke a town. They could nuke the entire country without any warning, without anybody being able to protect themselves.
Could they?
Could cook them like
could they? Do we know that?
A boiling frog in the middle of the night. This infrastructure is not only in place, it's built up with multiple levels of redundancy. Every big city has thousands of these death towers.
Oh, we're not going to have a minute now of solid fear mongering, are we? No wonder people are coming off this scared if he's ending it like this.
All that needs to happen is for an AI from Google or whoever to come in and nuke everybody at once and take over. Who out there remembers that movie Terminator? Well, Google doesn't have to send a Terminator to every door or launch a nuclear strike. It can just turn on these cell phone towers to maximum and cook everybody within the city limits within an hour, and then just send in the Terminators to mop up the countryside.
Guys, don't watch this kind of shit. Just send in the Terminators to come and mop up the countryside. What is he trying to turn over? What is he trying to do to the future, man? What's he trying to bring into his own reality? This stuff, if you think about this stuff, it potentially can happen to you. Let's see what his patron's saying. How does fear sell? I don't know how long it's been on. It's got a lot of Ks though, 84k. It's not loaded quick enough. It's alright. Yeah, I'm streaming a video, aren't I? Yeah, don't share this video, guys. It's fear mongering. First half of it was good. This guy's wicked. Talking about, yo, this is dodgy. Look, there's electric fields everywhere. He wasn't trying to say it's gonna kill us. He was just saying, look, this is the number in the place. Make your own decision about it. And this guy goes and starts saying, oh, you're gonna die. And it's weaponization to do us all over. Showing, what's this? This is like a nuclear bomb. This is marketing. This is what news channels do. This is what mass media does to try and make it look, try and implant messages in your head. They'll put a victim, a criminal here, someone that they want to have as a criminal on the left-hand side where this cell tower is, and they'll put like gangs of people fighting, or victims, or murder, nasty stuff that you want to think the criminal's done here. But they don't have to be related at all. Like, these two aren't related. This is just this is an image of a cell phone tower, and this is an image of some fiery stuff. It looks like the images of the nukes going off that were released of, the fake nukes in the 60s, maybe. But anyway, it's not related, is it? Who is this guy? Who's released this? God Rules. I'm going to put him on my list of I don't know what. I'm starting a list. Peace on a plane.